it's time for kickoff in the Windy City between the Bears and Jaguars. Today's game is being broadcast in Spanish, where available using the SAP button on your television. Kickoff next from Chicago. Bradley in his fourth season as Jacksonville's head coach, just 1-12 in his career against the NFC. And on the other sideline is John Fox in his second year for the Bears, trying to win back-to-back home games. Something has to give in this one. The Bears have lost 11 of their last 13 at home, while Jacksonville has lost 17 of its last 18 road games. The Jaguars won the toss. They have deferred, so Chicago will start. Deontay Thompson back deep, awaiting the kickoff from Jason Myers. Week 6 of the NFL on CBS. We're underway from Soldier Field, and this will be a touchback. The Bears will start at the 25-yard line, and it will be Brian Hoyer once again making his fourth straight start for the injured Jay Cutler. Over 1,000 yards passing, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. And the no interceptions with 140 pass attempts, the second longest streak in the NFL this season, behind Dak Prescott of the Cowboys. Chicago, second in the NFL yards per play, but they have the third fewest points per game, just 17 per game. They've got to try to punch it in the end zone. That was the message we got from the Bears on Friday. And Hoyer starting with a pass on first down. Dangerous, but caught by Alshon Jeffrey. A gain of 11 and a first down for the Bears. We take a look at the starting offense. Bobby Massey was questionable with an ankle injury. He will start today. And Zach Miller, the former Jaguar, going against his old mates.
Yeah, he's been struggling with some rib injuries. We'll see if he can hold up through 4 quarters.
First carry for Jordan Howard, the rookie, and he is taken down from behind by Roy Miller. As we look at this Jacksonville defense, Malik Jackson, the big offseason acquisition from Denver, 1 sack on the season. Keep an eye out for Miles Jack today. He is starting over Dan Scuda, who is active, but still not 100% coming off a hip injury. And in the secondary, Deshaun Gibson was another question mark, but he's active and starting for Jacksonville.
Yeah, they wanted to check him out this morning, see if he was going to be able to go. Tough day yesterday, but he's on the field today for the Jaguars.
And nowhere to go again for the rookie Jordan Howard. Jacksonville will late flag coming in.
Wow, this flag came in very late. It's almost like
referee,
the Bears asked for it, and the referee obliged them. It was late after the play from deep in the secondary. It looked like it was post-snap, or post-play even.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 75, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down, Chicago.
It's on Jared Odrick.
Odrick has got a little bit of a short fuse. This is after the play was over. You see there Paulson trying to get in. Odrick giving him a little extra bit of shot in the back of the head, and then walked away. And then the flag came in. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, already we're seeing a penalty on the Jaguars. They average over 10 per game, as Steve Berline highlighted in our open. Keep Cleat quiet. Well, a couple plays in, we've already heard from Cleat Blakeman. By action, Hoyer rolling right, throws, completes to Miller, but he's tackled immediately by Telvin Smith, third-year man out of Florida State.
You really have to give kudos to this Jacksonville Jaguars defense. They really have played good football all season to this point. They've lost a lot of close games, but this defense only giving up a little over 300 yards a game, and they're making teams work for every single inch they get on the football field.
All right. Second and 10, it's Howard. And Howard, again, tripped up right around the line of scrimmage. He gets a yard on the play. Tyson Alu with the tackle.
Yeah, you said it, Steve Berline. This is a defense in Jacksonville that all of a sudden, they got a lot of draft picks get on the field, and they are very fast, particularly at the linebacker spot. Now, Postlosny may not be able to outrun people, but Miles Jack, Dante Fowler, 2 young guys got in there. And, you know, Gus Bradley told us yesterday, man, you put those guys on the field, and all of a sudden we're pretty fast at linebacker. You can see it. They're getting to the edge of that run game quick.
Bears fourth worst third down offense. Jaguars fourth worst third down defense. It's 3rd and 9. Boyer with time completes the pass short of a first down. And it's caught by Eddie Royal, but Paul Pusluzny right there. It's 4th and short, and John Fox sends out his punter, Pat O'Donnell.
Great discipline by the Jaguars. Watch 51, Paul Pusluzny. He knows where that stake is, and they did a great job sitting in their zones, giving up the pass underneath the yard to gain marker, and sure enough, Chicago's out there to punt the football, and that's good, solid Gus Bradley defense right there.
Brian Walters is back deep to return the punt. Rashad Green, the normal punt returner for the Jaguars, inactive with an Achilles injury. Walters lets it bounce inside the 10 and down right there. That's just the 2nd punt this year by O'Donnell inside the 10-yard line. So the Jaguars will be backed up for their first offensive possession. We're back in a moment. Jaguars start their first drive at the 10-yard line. Play action on first down. Bortles on the move, throws, and it's caught by Allen Robinson. Bortles had a lot of success outside the pocket 2 weeks ago against the Colts, and he gets it going early here with a gain of 18.
Well, he is a very athletic big man. You know, he's 6'5", 240 pounds, got a rifle of an arm, and right there on the move, he showed his athletic ability, delivers a strike to Allen Robinson. That's a good start for the Jaguars offense.
Gives Jacksonville a little bit of breathing room. 1st and 10 from the 28. It's TJ Yeldon, and he is stuffed. That was Akeem Hicks coming up to meet the 2nd-year man, Yeldon. Blake Bortles, 7 touchdowns, 6 interceptions this season. So Bortles has a total of 7 turnovers in Jacksonville's first 4 games, although last time out against the Colts, he was turnover-free. The road number is not pretty. 1 and 14 as a starter on the road. Yeldon gets to the 30, but it will be 3rd and long as we take a look at the rest of the Jacksonville offense. The former Bear, Patrick Omame, gets his first start this season at left guard. Luke Jokel had surgery earlier in the week. And Allen Robinson, already seen him with 1 catch, continues to emerge as one of the best young receivers in the NFL. On 3rd and 8 or more this season, Jacksonville is 1 for 22. It's 3rd and 8. Bortles looking for Robinson again, and he's got it. So just the 2nd time this season the Jaguars have converted on 3rd and 8 or longer. It's a gain of 16.
Well, it's going to be a great catch at the end of this. Great release, outside look. Look at this catch. It is a great catch. I like the throw even better. I mean, it was right in where it had to be, and that's twice when they really needed it on early downs. Robinson's come through. First play of the game got him out of trouble, and they're converted the big 3rd down.
2 catches, 34 yards already for Allen Robinson. On 1st and 10, Bortles to Marquise Lee. Gets away from 1 and gets the first down. Great job by Marquise Lee to move the chains after he picks up 14.
Well, Marquise Lee is the 3rd member of this young trio of wide receivers. High hopes coming out of USC. He's stalled early in his career with injuries, but he's shown signs of life this year, getting a lot more action. And boy, you're talking about 3 young wide receivers that have a chance to be together and do some damage for a lot of time moving forward.
Bryce Callahan missed a tackle for the Bears defense. Chris Ivory at running back. And Ivory right up the middle, lowers the shoulder. Chris Ivory only had 20 carries so far this year with a big run for Jacksonville.
Well, Jones-Cordy got trucked at the end of it. I mean, he got up, popped up, and said something to Ivory. But yeah, you win when your Ivory coming through. Hey, that's what a safety does. It's no fun. It's part of the job. But man, oh man, That was a big boy run by Ivory.
Offensive coordinator Greg Olson told us last night they'd like to try to get a 50-50 split in carries between Ivory and Yeldon. Ivory reversing field, trying to get to the edge, and he is shoved out by Acho. We take a look at this Chicago defense, and once again, Will Sutton starting up front. Eddie Goldman missing another game because of an ankle injury. Sam Acho also getting a start because Leonard Floyd, the rookie, missing his second straight game because of a calf injury. And Tracy Porter anchors that secondary for Chicago.
We spoke to offensive coordinator Jacksonville, Greg Olson, last night. He said he's told Blake Bortles that's the guy you've got to find on the field before you snap the football in the secondary. That's Porter's the veteran. If you don't know where he's at, he's going to cause problems.
So they're not going to avoid him, but they're not going to. They're aware of him.
Bortles, good protection, throws over the middle, broken up by Jarrell Freeman, and a late flag comes in.
Yeah, Alan Hearns didn't like. He thought he got interfered with, and then when they threw the flag, he had a few choice words for Jarrell Freeman.
Pass interference, defense, number 50. The ball he placed at the spot of the foul. First down, Jacksonville.
I didn't think it happened right when the ball got there. I think it was before the ball got in the air. I'll tell you what, Bortles showed some great poise. Changes his delivery, and now I see pulled him on the back arm. Spun Hearns around. He couldn't get his arms out to grab that. And Hearns knew it.
Jacksonville has gone 18 straight games without a touchdown on their opening drive. They're marching down the field here inside the 25-yard line, 1st and 10, with 7:14 to go in the first quarter. Bears showing blitz. Bortles gets rid of it quickly, completes it to Hearns, and Hearns spins away from Amos. It's actually Jacoby Glenn that was on the coverage there for the Bears. Hearns in the game against the Colts a couple of weeks ago broke free for a touchdown.
You know, in general, Blake Bortles is not a guy who's done very well this year against pressure, but you called it right there, Andrew. The Bears did bring a couple of extra guys, but right that time, Bortles knew exactly where he wanted to go with the football. They had a good, productive first down play as a result.
Ivory remains the running back. It's 2nd and 6. And Ivory dragged down by Jonathan Bullard. We met with Greg Olson, the offensive coordinator, last night for Jacksonville. And, you know, coming off the bye, the Jaguars had some time to reflect and evaluate their first 4 games. And he told us we really need a renewed commitment to the run. They were putting too much on Blake Bortles, too much pressure on the quarterback to come up big on 3rd down. So look for more running plays today for the Jaguars. We've already seen more of Chris Ivory.
Well, and they had the success 2 weeks ago against Indianapolis, 136 yards, and it just opens things up for the passing game, keeps them in desirable situations, much better offensive feel out there when they're running the ball.
3rd down and 4. Yeldon at running back. 3 receivers set. Bortles looking right, tossing one for the end zone. A lot of contact, and there's the flag. The intended target was Marquise Lee. It was Jacoby Glenn on the coverage.
Well, he can throw his arms in the air all he wants, but it almost looked like he just threw the receiver to the ground.
Pass interference, defense, number 39. The ball we placed at the spot of foul. First down, Jacksonville.
All this takes place. There's always an official that watches these guys up close and personal. You'll see Marquise Lee getting down. That you can't grab him 5 yards down the field and push him over like that. That's an absolute non-starter. You can't complain about it. It's an easy call. The flag came out immediately.
2nd time on this drive, a penalty has given Jacksonville a 1st down. Now they have 1st and goal. Ivory to the goal line, and he is just short. Now the Bears are indicating the ball came out, but the officials are pointing to the ground.
Yeah, it did look like that ball popped out of there at some point. Officials think it was after Ivory was down.
Yeah, here's what happens now. Because of that, they're going to get deeper in the play clock. They're going to take them a while to unwind. But the reaction of the players, no question, they thought it was out. And the ball came. Yeah, it looked like his arm hit the ground with the ball in it. Yeah, the ground caused that fumble, and they got that right.
I'll tell you, a split second earlier, Jarrell Freeman was coming over the top with his. He's the one that knocked
He did the
that
right
ball
thing.
out.
He almost got it, but he didn't.
Split second earlier, that ball would have been out.
Green 80.
Second and goal.
Green is shot.
Bortles looking to the air for Mercedes Lewis, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, he knew that was going to happen. Mercedes Lewis going out wide, 6'6", and he's out working against Chris Krasinski. And that's just, you got a huge guy out there trying to work against a 5'11", 6-foot safety. You got to give it a try.
Well, this is why the Jaguars brought in Chris Ivory. They wanted him to be their goal line back. 15 touchdowns the last 2 years with the Jets. And Ivory is next to Bortles on 3rd and goal. And a penalty comes in. Sam Acho thought the Jaguars flinched.
And I think Sam's the only one that thinks that way.
False start. Offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
I didn't see it, but obviously we're wrong. I'm wrong up here.
Well, you want to know why both these teams are one win on the season. I didn't see too much there. You want to know why they have one win? This is it. Both teams get penalties at the wrong times. They make mistakes that cost them. They turn it over at critical times, and that's why you struggle to win. That's why both these teams struggle to score points at times. They do it to themselves.
First penalty this year on Kelvin Beachum. Backs up the Jags. It remains 3rd and goal. Bortles looking to the air. Has time all day and fires to the end zone. And it's intercepted. Tracy Porter on the return. And Porter to the 23-yard line. 7th interception this season by Blake Bortles. And the Jaguars march the length of the field, and they come up empty. Second pick this year for Tracy Porter.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Verizon. Welcome to Verizon LTE Advanced, the next-gen network. And by Ameriprise Financial.
Longest drive this year by the Jaguars in terms of yards and time of possession, and they come up empty. We'll show you the replay in a moment, but it's a ball that Allen Robinson needs to catch. So the Bears get it back, 1st and 10 from the 24. Hoyer completes it to Meredith, and he's immediately hit by Cyprien. Good job protecting Hoyer by the Bears offensive line as we go back to the interception.
This really is a good job by Blake Bortles. Could the ball have been thrown a little bit more accurately? Sure. But it down by the end zone, that ball, he's trying to keep it away from defenders. He throws it low. Robinson's got to make that catch. It's just a heartbreaker for the Jaguars. Their best drive of the year, and they come up with nothing.
20!
19 straight games now for Jacksonville without a touchdown on their opening drive. Howard escapes from one, and Howard to the 35-yard line for a Chicago 1st down.
Yeah, that's why Jordan Howard has really emerged as a really good back. What patience he shows here. Jacksonville moves down the line. You'll see everybody come down and follow this, but once they get there, Howard just waits, and then picks his way through for a nice gain, converts the 1st down. It's hard for a young back to do that when the speed elevates the way it does in the NFL, but Howard has done a great job.
He averages 2.1 yards after contact, 8th best in the NFL. Howard again up the middle and gets close to the 40-yard line. Well, Jordan Howard has got his name on a pretty elite list. Matt Forte and Gale Sayers. Anytime you're on a graphic with Gale Sayers, you're doing something right. This is most scrimmage yards through the first 4 career games.
That's, yeah, you're right. If you're on the screen with Gale Sayers, you win. That's great.
Matt Forte, no slouch either.
That's right.
Back 88! Back 88! Hut!
2nd and 7. Hoyer on the move. Completes it to Royal in Jacksonville territory. Aaron Coleman caught up with him to make the tackle, but not before a gain of 16 for Eddie Royal.
Really nice job. Right here's Royal right here in the slot. He's going to come across the field. Watch the action come this way with Hoyer and back around. The whole defense for the Jaguars, they've got to respect that run, and it over pursues, and that allows a nice, easy throw and catch from Hoyer to Royal. Very nice first down call and conversion for the Bears.
Those two have great chemistry since Hoyer's been inserted into the lineup. Royal's now caught 20 of 22 targets from Hoyer, and we have movement on the line and a false start against the Bears.
False start. Offense number 82. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Back to New York, our first NFL Today update with JB and Coach Cowher.
A fumble by Odell Beckham Jr. leads to this.
1-yard Terrence West run, and now Baltimore up 10-0 early in the first quarter in New York.
Andrew, Steve, and Steve.
All right, guys, thank you. And several of the Ravens banged up, missing some key players today. So good start by Baltimore against the Giants.
20!
2 minutes to go in the first quarter here in Chicago. Play action. Hoyer was looking deep. Now he'll try a deep shot for Jeffrey. A flag is down. And there's contact down there with Jalen Ramsey. That was a matchup we highlighted in our open. Jeffrey and Ramsey.
Well, there's flags everywhere. There's flag on the near side of the 32, and there's 2 flags inside the 5 on the far side. Every official's getting into the act now as Clete Blakeman will sort this out. Certainly there was offensive pass interference at the end of that as Jeffrey kept the defender from intercepting it, but I think there was also a penalty early on.
No doubt. Amakamura on the near side to us. They were trying to get Bellamy on a double move over the top, and Amakamura just slammed right into him. That's the flag that's going to be enforced.
There are fouls against both teams on the play. Pass interference, offense, number 17. Illegal contact, defense number 21. Those penalties offset will replay first down.
Yeah, Alshon Jeffrey kind of tapped himself. He said, yeah, I did interfere, and it was a good play by him at the end of that. Now, it was a good play by Hoyer, too. Give the guy a chance to make it. Now, he didn't know any of these penalties were going to be called, but give that guy a chance to make a play for you. He hasn't done that enough, in my opinion.
The ball at the 49-yard line of Jacksonville, 1st and 15.
Pepper. Hurry.
Hoyer over the middle, caught by Zach Miller, and he is smacked down by Telvin Smith and Avery Jones. Well, Thursday, your weekend starts here with an NFC North showdown. It's these Chicago Bears heading on up to take on the Green Bay Packers. Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. Bears have won 2 of their last 3 games at Lambeau. It's Cameron Meredith on the reception, and again, Jacksonville's defense right there.
That looked like Jacksonville had their heads in the Bear huddle. They saw that play coming, and Puzzluzny alerted the team to what was going to happen. Everybody's running this way. They see this play before the snap, and man, oh man, did they jump on it.
You see the speed of that Jaguars defense, too.
Well, they're a team that has had slow starts and struggled the last handful of years, so they got a lot of top draft picks on that field now defensively, and they can scoot, man. They can really fly sideline to sideline, and you see it.
It's 3rd and 9. Hoyer looking sideline. Jeffrey's got it for a first down. Ramsey slipped on the coverage, and Alshon Jeffrey moves the chains for the Bears.
And there you see Ramsey, really well established about this young first-round draft choice out of Florida State. He likes to jaw, likes to trash talk a little bit, but Alshon Jeffrey, I don't think he's going to get caught up in it. He's just going to go about his business and try and school the young cornerback today, because they're going to be matched up most every play, I believe.
It did rain overnight here in Chicago, as we showed you a chance of storms later this afternoon. Tarp was on the field for much of pregame. Hoyer taking a shot. And it's incomplete. Jeffrey had some separation from Ramsey.
Well, you talked about it last throw down the field, that when they called the PI on Alshon Jeffrey, Hoyer gave him a chance at least to make a play. Here, no excuse to put this ball over the top and out of the end zone. Alshon Jeffrey one-on-one against the rookie. You got to give him a chance to make that play.
I'll tell you what, Jalen Ramsey's getting a little bit of a lesson here on how a guy who's been in the league and is the #1 guy runs routes. He's following Jeffrey around, although Jeffrey came off for a breather. He's learning some things right now in this early going.
First incompletion for Hoyer. He had started 8 for 8.
Hurry,
4 seconds left in the first quarter. Howard gets away from Odrick, but not from Malik Jackson. And that is the end of the first quarter. No score between the Jaguars and Bears. We're back to Chicago after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Back in Chicago, be the first to know your team's news with the CBS Sports app. Get instant updates, expert analysis, highlights, much more. Download the CBS Sports app today. Start of the second quarter at Soldier Field between the Bears and Jaguars. And Chicago is faced with 3rd and 12. They're at the Jacksonville 27-yard line. Hoyer in the shotgun. And a flag comes in, and Cameron Meredith jumped from his wide receiver position.
False start. Offense, number 81, 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
You know, this has been the theme for the Chicago Bears. We talked to Brian Hoyer about it yesterday. We talked to John Fox, Dowell Loggins. They had 522 yards against the Indianapolis Colts last week, but they can't get the ball in the end zone. They keep stopping themselves with terrible timing on penalties.
3rd most pre-snap penalties in the NFL. There's another one by Chicago. It makes it 3rd and 17. Hoyer to Royal at the 25. Royal to the 20, and Puzlesny chases him down from behind. That is short of a first down. And out comes the kicker, Connor Barth, for the Bears.
Yeah, this is what they're going to do. Let them complete the short pass and then tackle them short of the first down line. And Puzlesny and the speed of those linebackers shows up again, and it does exactly what the defense was designed to do. Let them have 15 yards if they want it. Just don't let them convert the 3rd down.
Connor Barth's been under fire here in Chicago. He's missed 1 field goal in 3 of his last 4 games. This is from 36 yards. And this one is good. And the Bears on the scoreboard first. Chicago takes a 3-0 lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Fiat. And by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly.
With NFL Game Pass, replay the games you missed with condensed games in 45 minutes or the full broadcast versions. Get the new mid-season offer today at NFL.com/Game Pass. Corey Grant, the normal kick returner for the Jaguars, he's inactive today because of a toe injury. Marquise Lee is back deep. He has not returned to kickoff in his NFL career, and he still hasn't, as this one is through the end zone for a touchback. Jacksonville football when we come back. On Tuesday, members of this year's Bears rookie class and several Bears alumni participated in the Hometown Huddle, taking place at a local children and family center. The goal is to start work on a new outdoor play and learning space. The new space will feature children's playgrounds, gardens, an outdoor classroom, and a turf football field. Back at Soldier Field, where the Jaguars are going back on offense. They trail 3-0. Jacksonville and Blake Bortles. The turnovers continue. 42 since 2014, the most in the NFL during that span. It's Ivory again. And Ivory picks up a couple with flags coming in. Appears to be a hold against Jacksonville.
Holding. Offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still first down.
And that is on the right tackle, Jeremy Parnell. The 4th time this year he's been called for holding.
He's working against Akeem Hicks. And just, boy,
That's tough. I mean,
I don't know about
it's a change of direction. He just really, I didn't see his arm extended grabbing. I think he just kind of fell on top, but the referee obviously saw something we didn't there.
Ivory nowhere to go for Chris Ivory.
And I hate that play call. An option, a run option, quarterback read option. What are you going to do if Bortles has to keep it and then you got the whole defense chasing him with 20 yards before you convert? I mean, it's not really a play I liked on a first down at 20. It's just, I mean, I think you got to throw the football on first down. You got to be balanced. You got to, now you got second and 20 and you waste it down.
Well, you run a draw play or a screen pass, something that gets the defense spread out. You want to pick up at least half of it.
380. Green inside.
Bortles, pressure coming, steps up, fires. What a catch by Robinson. Allen Robinson up to the 32-yard line. Bortles let it go just in the nick of time. It's a gain of 15.
Well, once again, I don't like this play call. It's a play action, and you got a 20-yard thing to gain. They're not even going to honor the run, but wow. Hearns does an Robinson does an outstanding job. Look at that catch to give him a chance to 3rd and 5. That's a great throw and catch once again by these Jaguars, who really seem to be hitting on all cylinders. They had one possession in the first quarter, went the length of the field, it ended in the turnover.
Trying to extend this drive. It's 3rd down and 4. Bortles hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. Jaguars thought maybe a penalty on the sideline. Pass was intended for Julius Thomas.
You know, I thought so as well.
I did too.
We'll see. We'll get a chance to look at it here. He's kind of hanging on the shoulder there. I mean, I don't know how you don't call that.
Yeah, that's usually the rule goes, the officials tell you, if they get a handful of jersey and pull it away from the body, it's a penalty, but the official standing behind it couldn't see.
And that was 15 or 20 yards down the field, too.
Yeah.
First punt today for Brad Nortman, and it's Eddie Royal awaiting the kick at his own 19-yard line. This one drives Royal back to the 8. And he's taken down inside the 15-yard line. A 60-yard punt for Brad Nortman, who had a 78-yarder last time out against the Colts. 12 minutes to go, second quarter, and the Bears back on offense. They have a 3-0 lead. 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line. It's a give to Howard, and he's dragged down from behind by Odrick. Well, Brian Hoyer could be in a tough spot here next week. He could be one of the very few people in Chicago that would not be rooting for the Cubs in the World Series if Chicago gets there, because Hoyer grew up in Cleveland. He is a diehard Indians fan, and we asked him if it's the Tribe and if it's the Cubs, who you going with? And he said, no doubt in my mind, I'll be rooting for Cleveland. And it's actually interesting, he's friends with Jed Hoyer, who's the general manager of the Cubs. Hoyer used to be in Boston with the Red Sox. They had a relationship from Hoyer's time in New England. They also have the same last name as Hoyer completes this to Alshon Jeffrey. Hoyer said he was invited to sit in Jed Hoyer's suite at a Cubs game this year. Does not expect that same invitation if it's Indians and Cubs next week.
Not wearing an Indians jersey.
No, that's for sure.
Yeah, this whole city is a buzz with not only the Chicago Bears, but that baseball playoffs. You're walking around downtown, and more than every other person has Cubs gear on, and the other person has Bears gear, and half of those people have both.
Cubs play game 2 later tonight against the Dodgers after they won the opener in dramatic fashion last night, and Jacksonville has called timeout.
Jacksonville takes its first timeout of the half.
It'll be 3rd down and 1 when we come back. This year, Chicago 3 for 4 on 3rd down and 1. That's what they have here following the Jacksonville timeout. Give it to the fullback, Lasike, and he is met right at the line. Hoyer indicating it's a first.
Now, the far side official is not giving him the first down. The near side is.
It's right on the line, and I think that's short. It looks like the marker on the other side of the field is.
They're moving the chains.
Giving it to him. Wow.
Just the 2nd carry this year for Paul Lasike.
Yeah, it's like always, you just disappear into all the bodies, and you always get pushed back, but it's how far forward you can get, and they gave him the first line. I think it's impossible to tell, but it's almost impossible to stop those plays as well.
Kadeem Carey in at running back. Slow start for Jordan Howard, who's got 7 carries for just 9 yards. So Kadeem Carey gets a chance here, and he's got a little bit of daylight up the middle. Lunges ahead to the 30-yard line. Tonight on CBS, NCIS Los Angeles faces off against an assassin. Don't miss an action-packed new episode tonight after 60 minutes, only CBS. Bears trying to win back-to-back home games for the first time since weeks 11 and 12 of the 2014 season. It's been tough sledding at Soldier Field for Chicago the last couple of years. Hoyer feeling the heat, dumps it down. It's dropped by Zach Miller. Let's go back to New York, an NFL Today update with JB and Coach Cowher.
Boy, it's been a long time, Coach.
Yeah, since Colin Kaepernick has thrown a touchdown pass week 6 of last year. This one comes in week 6 this year to Torrey Smith, 53 yards. And San Francisco in Buffalo takes a 10-7 lead.
Andrew, Steve, and Steve.
All right, guys, thank you very much. 3-0 here in Chicago. The Bears have the lead with 9:20 to go in the first half. It's 3rd and 4 for Chicago. Hoyer to Miller, slips, but he's still got the first down. Zach Miller, drafted by the Jaguars in 2009, played 33 games with Jacksonville, and he picks up the first for the Bears.
Motions in on the bunch, takes a little quick out. He actually give him a nice spot. He should be down there. They spot him all the way up to the 40-yard line. Almost breaks the tackle there by Gibson. Gibson, once again, you see the knee brace on Gibson making that tackle. Was a question mark coming in. I think you got to test those guys. If they're, you don't know if they're going to be all 100%. You got to throw the football at them, and the Bears did it.
Bears now 3 for 5 on 3rd downs. Hoyer, incomplete, dangerous pass into coverage, looking for Miller again.
Miller was looking right at Kozlowski.
Alu applying the heat.
Hoyer has not thrown interceptions. I mean, he's got a great streak going. I mean, look here, and I have a hard time with these graphics because you know as soon as we show it, the guy's going to make a bad decision, throw it right into the arms of a defender, but he has got it going on. Hoyer has come in and really energized it and has stayed away from the mistake, and that's been why this offense, at least in Chicago, has played well and moved the football.
That's why I let you read the graphics, so no one can blame you if Hoyer throws a pick.
You know it's going to happen. I hate that.
2nd and 10. Here's Howard. Again, not much room for Howard. His long run so far in the first half is 5 yards.
It's been interesting because we've been talking, about the Bears, and they have moved the football with Hoyer and Howard. Cameron Meredith has exploded. We talked about in the open, but they can't score points. And you see both these teams, I mentioned it earlier, as you see Jay Cutler there, the starting quarterback on the sideline. Both these teams with 1 win on the season. We've seen it. Jacksonville did it to themselves with an interception. And the Bears having trouble converting with penalties in the red zone.
3rd down and 8. Jaguars showing blitz. Chicago 2 for 2 on 3rd downs this drive. Hoyer with a hand in his face, still completes it. And Alshon Jeffrey breaks free. Jeffrey pushed out of bounds by Cyprien. But a gain of 27 for Alshon Jeffrey. And Jalen Ramsey again on the coverage, missed a tackle.
A super nice job by Brian Hoyer right here. You don't see the pressure coming on him, but Alshon Jeffrey getting physical with Ramsey. He's a big guy. Ramsey's got to do more than try and touch him with his hands, but you see Hoyer right there. The Jaguars came with a really nice delayed blitz, had 2 guys coming free right in Hoyer's face. He still delivers a strike on the outside. Big play for the Bears.
Not only is Hoyer not throwing interceptions, but he's only been sacked 3 times. Now looking deep for Miller, and it's incomplete. Cyprien on the coverage for Jacksonville.
This was a play where they were going to take a deep shot, and then you saw as Hoyer drop back, he was going to go to the near side and try and find the big tight end Miller. But when that was broken off, he looked to the backside for Jeffrey, and that was covered up as well. The athletes in the back end and the front 7 of Jacksonville really doing a nice job staying up with him, with the exception of Jalen Ramsey trying to hang on to Alshon Jeffrey.
And now Hoyer has thrown the most passes in the NFL this year without an interception. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys play later today, but now 156 for Hoyer without a pick. 2 on the play clock. It's Kadeem Carey. Telvin Smith takes him down. Back to New York. An NFL Today update. JB and Coach Cowher.
Boy, you don't want Drew Brees to get hot.
How about Drew Brees first half? 2 touchdowns. This one to Michael Thomas, 9 yards out. He's already got 154 yards. And what is going on in Carolina? They trail 21-0.
Wow. Back to Andrew Catalon.
That is $1 million question right now, Coach Cowher. What is going on with the Panthers? Twelfth play of the drive. 3rd and 3 for the Bears. Poyer, quick pass caught by Meredith right at the sticks. He's taken down by Mukamara, but it's good for another Chicago first down.
Well, this Cameron Meredith is a kid that really has stepped up in the absence of Kevin White. Had a big game last week, 9 catches for 130 yards against the Colts. And Gus Bradley, he said, we're looking at the film, you know Kevin White's out, and then all of a sudden this other guy, number 81, starts flashing. Like, where did this guy come from? He really looks like a good player.
Push. Like 20.
Carey gets a couple. We've seen more of Carey than Howard on this drive for the Bears. A little extracurricular after that play. This is the area of the field which has been a big point of emphasis for the Bears this week. We said it before, they're second in the NFL in yards per play, but they scored the 3rd fewest points per game. They score just 17 per game. They have to punch these types of drives into the end zone. They've got it 2nd and 8 with 5:20 to go in the first half.
50 salt. 50 salt.
That's the matchup right there. Ramsey on Jeffrey.
Dropped by Jordan Howard. We met with Howard on Friday, and he did have 3 catches last week, 12 on the season, but he said at Indiana he was not used much as a pass catcher out of the backfield. That's one thing that he's really had to try to work on in his rookie year, and he's still not where he wants to be, as evidence right there.
Well, to his credit, though, this is a guy that played 63 or 66 of the 69 snaps they had. He's in there all 3 downs, so they do like where he's headed, even though he wasn't used and doesn't have much experience. He's a 3-down back, and that's enormous for Chicago.
Bears 4 for 4 on 3rd down on this drive. But it's 3rd and 8 for Chicago. Poyer completes it to Meredith at the 5. Meredith gives Chicago 1st and goal. Now 5 for 5 on this drive, converting 3rd down.
Well, Greg Olsen dialed up the right play this time. The Bears, or the Jaguars, just left the whole middle of the field open. They had Malik Jackson dropping back to the middle of the field, some kind of a zone blitz scheme, and the big man didn't get back deep enough to affect the throw. That's about as easy as it gets in the NFL. Nice call by Greg Olsen and the Jaguars.
Bears only have 2 rushing touchdowns this season, none since week 2. On 1st and goal, Howard takes it in. Touchdown, Bears. The first rushing touchdown of Jordan Howard's career, and Chicago takes a 9-0 lead.
And I got to go back. I'm thinking the Jaguars are making these. That's Dowell Loggins and the Bears making those plays, obviously. I got excited because it was so easy, and right there they finish it off with a nice run right up the middle. Beautiful drive. Great play calling by Dowell Loggins and execution by the Bears offense against the Jaguars defense.
16 plays in 7.5 minutes, both season highs for the Bears. What a drive that was, and most importantly, from a Chicago perspective, it ends with a touchdown and not a field goal. Extra point by Connor Barth is good. Jordan Howard's had a slow start in this game, but he comes to life with his 2nd NFL touchdown.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. Chili's 3 for Me deal. Chillin' since '75. And by Nissan. Innovation that excites.
Overcast day in Chicago. Bears have just taken a 10-0 lead. Last week they had a 96-yard touchdown drive against the Colts. And on this one they go 86 yards in 16 plays. Took over 7.5 minutes. And now Chicago ahead by 10 with Barth kicking off to Marquise Lee again. And Lee will take a knee. Jaguars offense coming back out on the field. They trail by 10. Screening saves lives in the NFL and the American Cancer Society encourage everyone to join in the fight against breast cancer. Learn more about a Crucial Catch Day on October 25th and find out how you can make a crucial catch at NFL.com/pink. Bears have done a great job on social media using the hashtag RBFWP. Real Bears fans wear pink. First and 10 for Jacksonville, and it's TJ Yeldon who picks up 3 yards.
This is a critical drive for Blake Bortles and the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know, they had the great drive to open the game, come out of it with nothing, really nothing since then. They haven't had many plays today. When you look at the overall number of plays, Jaguars only 16 plays on the day. They've got to get something on the board going into halftime.
Bears have run twice as many plays as Jacksonville. This is just the 3rd drive for the Jaguars. Inside 4 minutes to go in the first half. Bortles and Yeldon could not get a handle on it. Well, the Bears have not shut out an opponent in the first half in 63 consecutive games. That's the longest active streak in the NFL. They're 348 away from blanking the Jaguars and ending that streak.
Both these clubs feel like they have been very close to turning the corner and start getting wins instead of losses. Both of them point to the same thing. It's the small details in these plays that do it. And you look at the Jacksonville offense, they've put themselves in a hole today more so than the Bears defense has stopped them.
Jaguars trying to avoid a second consecutive 3-and-out. It's 3rd and 7 with 4 on the play clock. Bortles to Marquise Lee, and he's got it for a Jacksonville first down. Second time today, the Jags have converted on 3rd down.
Well, you think back how this first half has gone for Jacksonville as Blake Bortles took them down the field on their first drive all the way from inside their 10-yard line to a goal-to-go situation and through the interception, which should have been a touchdown. And then they came out, got a 1st and 20 with a penalty, and did it to themselves. Couldn't convert that. It was a 3-and-out. And now, finally, in their 3rd possession of the half, going into halftime, they've got it going on again.
Yeldon on first down. This Bears run defense has looked very good today. They held the Jaguars to just 27 rushing yards.
And Greg Olson told us, the offensive coordinator for the Jaguars, told us that that running game that came to life against Indianapolis, they really, really needed to count on that. They were expecting to be able to move the ball on the ground against this Bears defense, but they have not had a lot of success or a lot of plays.
Jaguars have 2 timeouts remaining in this half. They use one on defense. Bortles in trouble and he's sacked. Willie Young with his team-leading 5th sack of the season.
Well, when you're expecting a defensive end to be blocked by a tight end, like right here, that's Julius Thomas. He is not going to be able to hold up against a defensive end, especially with the quarterback trying to roll out that way. That was a lack of execution. Either Julius Thomas was supposed to be outside, forcing Willie Young inside, or that was just a bad design on the play.
Bears had a season-high 5 sacks last week against the Colts, including 3 by Young. He tacks another one to his total with a 2-minute warning. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cower. All the latest NFL scores and highlights. Also a preview of Thursday Night Football. It's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. 3rd and 16. And Bortles, his pass is ruled a fumble.
No, they're called now.
That's got to be incomplete. Allen Hurns is still down on the ground. He took a big hit, could not hold on to the football, and Hurns is now being attended to. It was Harold Jones-Corte who leveled Hurns.
Brings up 4th down.
We saw earlier in the day, Jones-Corte took a shot on the running game, probably anxious to get a little bit of it back. Great throw. Hurns just got stripped of the ball. Trevathan comes in as a linebacker, and he actually...
That was helmet to helmet. Watch at the end of 59 comes right. Well, I couldn't tell. It looked from the other angle. It looked like it was helmet to helmet. And
Hearns is up on his feet. We'll step aside and come back in a moment.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx, helping small businesses simplify e-commerce. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Because of the injury inside 2 minutes, Jacksonville was charged a timeout, so they have one remaining. And now Allen Hearns is being evaluated on the Jacksonville bench. You can see it's a good sign he's up walking around, but he took a big shot from Danny Trevathan. Nortman is out to punt, and Eddie Royal back deep on 4th and 16. Nortman gets it away. Royal with a fair catch at the 22. And let's go back to that hit by Trevathan.
Well, he's being guarded by Jones-Quartey, and then Danny Trevathan comes in, and you'll see Trevathan's helmet grazes across the front, and
his head was down.
His head was
the
down.
crown of his helmet.
Yeah, and it was, you can see there, I mean, that's never a good sign.
In this day and age, I think a penalty or that kind of a play is going to have the penalty called more often than not. There definitely was head-to-head contact. Trevathan's head was down.
Well,
fortunately, Allen Hearns is up walking around on the sideline, but
I think what will happen is Trevathan will probably get a little note in a FedEx package that with a bill in it.
So 3 timeouts for the Bears, 1:47 to go, and Hoyer's pass is incomplete. Eddie Royal slipped.
Paul Posluszny was almost there to make that play.
4th drive today by Chicago. First one was a punt, but they've scored 10 points on their last 2 drives. Brian Hoyer is 14 for 20 for 143 yards. He hands it off to Howard. And Howard is dragged down by Malik Jackson. And Chicago just content with letting some time tick off the clock. Jacksonville with only 1 timeout remaining.
Yeah, this is, you're exactly right. You got a 10-point lead. Come right there all the way down the line. That's a great play by Malik Jackson. He is a big guy who can run right down the line. 6'5", 300 pounds, and he ran that play down. That's the kind of athletes this Jacksonville team has defensively.
3rd down and 6. Bears are 6 for 8 on 3rd downs. They've made 5 in a row. Hoyer. That's caught by Jeffrey for a first down right in front of Jalen Ramsey. 5th catch today for Alshon Jeffrey. He's got 77 yards receiving in the first half.
Well, it's not getting any better for Jalen Ramsey. Alshon Jeffrey is really having a good first half.
Bears hustle to the line on 1st and 10. Hoyer, and that one is incomplete. Intended for Meredith, and it was Prince Amukamara on the coverage. That stops the clock with 36 seconds to go.
Yeah, coming into this game, Chicago was 29th in the NFL on 3rd down percentage. They were 2 of 9 against Indianapolis. Indianapolis is not a good defense. And today, against a much better Jacksonville defense, they've converted as much as they've needed to. I mean, this is
the Jaguars defense, the one area they've struggled is 3rd down. They're 29th in the league on 3rd down despite all the other numbers. So the Bears taking advantage of that today, exposing them.
2nd and 10. Hoyer, sideline, Jeffrey, he's got another 6th catch for Alshon Jeffrey. Remember all those whispers about Hoyer wasn't finding Jeffrey enough? Well, number 6 for Jeffrey today. Don't forget, coming up on the Verizon halftime report, JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cowher. They'll have all the latest NFL scores and highlights. Also a preview of the Thursday night game between these Bears and the Packers, all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Last week, Alshon Jeffrey had 5 catches for the game, already more than that here in the first half.
And he's got Jalen Ramsey shaking his head already, too. He's got him confused right now.
On 1st and 10. Hoyer looking for Meredith. Then Amukamara, stride for stride. Was he too close? A flag is down.
Yeah, this really changes everything now for the Chicago Bears. We said earlier in this drive they were going to be content to run this football, see how it went. Well, with those completions, now with 25 seconds left, and now what looks to be a pass interference penalty or an illegal contact penalty, they're thinking score.
Amukamara is saying the ball was uncatchable.
It's going to be illegal contact or perhaps interference. The ball was in the air.
It was actually a busted route by the Chicago Bears. You had two receivers going to the exact same spot.
The pass is deemed to be uncatchable, so there is no foul on the play. Brings up second down.
John Fox does not agree with Clete Blakeman.
The reason it was, and I read the official, they think Meredith might have stepped out of bounds. The official had his hat off, so Meredith became ineligible.
The question is, whether the contact prevented Meredith from getting to where that ball might have been catchable.
Well, the point is Meredith, he was out of bounds, so he was ineligible, and that therefore was uncatchable by Jeffrey coming across. So the only eligible receiver was way away from the play, and that's why there was no penalty.
25 seconds to go. Pressure coming. Hoyer gets rid of it. It's incomplete.
I'll tell you what, this Bears offensive line is doing a great job keeping Hoyer upright. And that's been one of the reasons he's been able to have such success. Gus Bradley told us and told everybody the two guards there, Josh Sitton and Kyle Long, are really athletic. Kyle Long is a big dude. And to have a guy that big who can get up to the second level in the run game plus pass protect like he can, this interior of the Bears line is really phenomenal.
Listed as 6'6", 320. Kyle Long. And now 3rd and 10 for the Bears. Hoyer incomplete. Meredith running an out route, and now 4th down, and the punter Pat O'Donnell will come out for Chicago.
Well, the Bears had timeouts to use. I don't know why they wouldn't have used the middle of the field. All they needed was about 10 or 11 yards to get it in the field goal range.
Yeah, I agree with you. They have the habit with Hoyer at quarterback. They get the ball out fast. They don't want him stepping up in the pocket, taking a 7-step drop, hanging on to it. They want the ball out, and I think that precludes some of what you can do offensively, particularly late in the game with the clock running out, or late in the half.
Second punt today for Pat O'Donnell. It's Brian Walters back deep to return the punt. O'Donnell has mastered these rugby-style kicks. And his second punt today inside the 10. He had won the entire season until today. Week 6 continues later today on Fox, then tonight with Sunday Night Football on NBC, and tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN. Jaguars one timeout. Expect them just to take a knee with 11 seconds to go in the first half. And yes, the Bears on the verge of ending that longest streak in the NFL without shutting out opponents in the first half. 63 straight times their opponents have scored in the first half, but the streak with Jacksonville taking a knee is finally over. Blake Bortles, 6 of 11, 78 yards and 1 interception in that first half. And the Bears go into the locker room with a 10-0 lead. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Bears in the first half. They shut out the Jags through 2 quarters. It's 10-0 Chicago. Back in the booth with Steve Berline and Steve Tasker. I'm Andrew Catalon. Key stat from that first half, 3rd down. Chicago was 7 for 10 on offense. Jags just couldn't get off the field, and they're down by 10.
And why is that so significant? The Jaguars have run only half as many plays as the Bears. The Bears have 40 plays in the first half, 70% on 3rd down conversion. The Bears are just owning that 3rd down, and coming into the game, they were 29th in the league, as you pointed out. What do you think the Jaguars have to do?
Well, the thing they've got to do is they've got to put some pressure on Hoyer. He is standing back there like he's thrown against air. He's got absolutely no pressure. And the fact that the Jaguars continue to insist on single covering Alshon Jeffrey, that's going to be a problem. He's having a great day, 6 catches for 90 yards. They've got to cover him up and force Hoyer to throw to somebody else.
Speaking of Jeffrey, time now for Who's Loving You, presented by McDonald's. Got a lot of talk about Hoyer not looking Alshon Jeffrey's way. You can't say that in the first half. As Steve Tasker mentioned, 6 catches for 90 yards. Jalen Ramsey had a tough first half going against Alshon Jeffrey. Jaguars will get the ball to start the second half. Connor Barth made a 36-yard field goal in the first half. He'll kick it away, and again it's Marquise Lee back deep for the Jags. See if he gets an opportunity to return it. And he will take this one for 3 yards out of the end zone. Lee to the 20. Not a good decision. He doesn't get back to the 25-yard line. Let's take a look at some more of the halftime numbers. Jaguars less than 100 yards of offense. Steve Berline mentioned the plays as well. 40 for the Bears, only 22 for Jacksonville.
You look at all of time of possession, all of it, and you combine that with the fact that the Jaguars had the frustrating end to their initial drive. Everything was going so positive. It's hard to go into a locker room with only negative things to talk about. But they've got a whole half of football only to make up 10 points.
Bortles looking to the air, and over the middle, the pass is incomplete. Intended for Allen Robinson. After a 4-for-4 start, Blake Bortles is now 2 for his last 8 with an interception.
When we talked to Greg Olson, he said it's constantly something with Blake Bortles he's got to do. They've got to work on his mechanics, and his accuracy is one of the things that really stands out. The throw like that was behind Allen Robinson. It could have been caught, yes, but that ball needs to be delivered more consistently and in a good spot for the receiver to catch that ball.
Yeldon. Nowhere to run for Jacksonville today. They have just 27 yards on the ground.
Well, I think both these teams, you think about it, it's one of the rare times in the NFL during the scheduling where both these teams come in having their last game been against the same opponent. Jacksonville beating Indianapolis in London and actually ran the football very well against them. And, of course, the Bears losing a tight one here to Indianapolis last week. Neither one of these teams should really feel like they got anything done offensively against that defense. Indianapolis has struggled, but both of them felt like they were turning the corner because of their success.
3rd down and 9. Bortles out of the shotgun. Acho coming with pressure. Bortles incomplete. Looking for Julius Thomas. And about the worst thing the Jags could do would go 3 and out. That's exactly what happens here, second time today.
And again, we're talking accuracy, all right? Here's Julius Thomas right here. All he's going to do is run up and run his, and there's nobody in Blake Bortles' lane to affect this throw. It should have been right on Julius Thomas right there out of the break. It's high and in front of him. Those are the plays that you have to make on a regular basis. That's the difference maker for Blake Bortles right now.
He's 6 for 13, and here's Brad Nortman. His 3rd punt of the day. Eddie Royal backtracks to the 20. Flag is down as Royal gets to the 29-yard line. There's actually now 2 flags on the play. 7 accepted penalties combined in the first half. 4 for the Bears, 3 on Jacksonville.
During the return, illegal block in the back, return team number 39. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, 1st down.
That's on Jacoby Glenn. 13:51 to go, 3rd quarter. Bears lead 10-0. Bears had an 86-yard scoring drive in the first half. Here they start at their own 9-yard line with their first possession of the second half. Hoyer to Meredith, and he's got it at the 25-yard line. A 1st down for Chicago, a gain of 16.
And you see the difference here. Now, Brian Hoyer coming out the second half. He's a guy that is a high percentage completion guy. Same type of throw to start the second half off for him, but Brian Hoyer delivers a catchable ball, and the Bears are off and moving now.
50. All right, Howard
Howard at running back. It's actually Kadeem Carey, and he gets to the 29-yard line. That's the 4th carry for Carey, and Howard just 10 carries for 16 yards. Jacksonville's defense did a good job on the rookie who's rushed for over 100 yards in each of the last 2 games.
Yeah, the big story, though, is what we spoke about at halftime. 3rd downs. I mean, the Bears just stay on the field offensively. They've limited Jacksonville's opportunities, so they not only have they not had success? They can't even find a rhythm offensively, and that it's carried over into the second half with a 3 and out on their first drive, and the Bears once again just methodically moving the football.
Kadeem Carey, tough pitch from Hoyer. Carey's able to corral it, and he gets to the 32. But here's what we're talking about. In the first half, Chicago 7 for 10 on third down conversions.
Well, it's a matchup we knew was going to take place on the outside as Gibson there hits it from Zach Miller, and then, of course, Alshon Jeffrey really having a big We've been talking a little bit in the press and the media about how little Alshon Jeffries had contributed, but he, everybody was getting into the act, and Hoyer, I mean, if you're going to complete 70% of your passes, you're a tough out.
Number 1 in the NFL in completion percentage. Third down and 4. Hoyer dropped by Carey, and he had room to run down the sideline. So the Bears failed to convert on third down, and out comes the punter O'Donnell.
And that's John Fox is over there going, man, we've got it right where we want them. We're doing everything. We're executing perfectly. And you get a guy dropping an absolutely perfect pass, and that's what does it to you. I mean, that's why you're a one-win team.
Well, they had completely outflanked the Jaguars defense. Telvin Smith, for whatever reason, got caught up on the inside, and as we saw, if Kadeem Carey catches that ball, he's down the sideline for another 15 or 20 yards at least.
Marquise Lee has never returned a punt in his NFL career. He's back deep for the Jags, ready to take this one from the 18, and great special teams play by Josh Bellamy. A 50-yard punt, a return of just 2 after Bellamy comes up big on special teams.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Inferno, in theaters October 28th. And by Toyota. Let's go places.
Back in Chicago, Jaguars start this drive at their own 21-yard line. Over the last 13 plays, the Jaguars have gained 14 yards. Trying to jumpstart their offense, they trail by 10. They begin with Ivory on the ground, trying the right side. And Ivory is stacked up by Trevathan and a host of others. Ivory was down. That's not a fumble. How about the Jaguars? On their first drive today, they had 6 first downs. Since then, they have 1 first down on their last 4 possessions.
And you can see the frustration mounting. We were talking about it during the break. This is the time where your franchise quarterback, even though it's young Blake Bortles, we can't keep saying young, he's got to step up and make a few plays to get this offense jump-started. It has to happen very, very soon.
2nd and 8. Ivory gets the 25 and up to the 27-yard line. 3rd down and short for Jacksonville.
Yeah, and right now, the reason this is so frustrating for Jacksonville and the reason the Bears are doing it, they're stopping the run with 6 guys in the box. I mean, they don't even have to commit or invest all that much effort or manpower into stopping the Jacksonville run game, and it's leaving no room in the back end for Blake Bortles to throw the football. So this Bear defense right now is absolutely dominating Jacksonville's offense.
Just 35 rushing yards for Jacksonville. It's 3rd down and 3. Empty backfield. Bortles in shotgun formation. Willie Young coming with pressure. Bortles steps up and it's dropped. Bortles put that one right in Hearns' hands. He dropped it, but a late flag has come in at the 32-yard line.
Oh, this is on offense.
Wow, they're calling on the Jags.
Yeah, this will be declined. Blake Bortles couldn't believe it. I don't know who it was on.
Pass interference. Offense, number 80. That penalty is declined. Brings up 4th down.
Julius Thomas is away from the ball.
That's the 2nd straight 3 and out by the Jacksonville offense. And Blake Bortles, 6 of 14 for 78 yards. That looked to be another time where Hearns should have caught it. This offense just not in sync coming off the bye last week. 4th and 3. Here's Nortman with Eddie Royal at the 20. Good punt. Royal from the 18. Gets blocked in on Robinson. Royal is pushed out of bounds at the 28 after a 53-yard boot from Brad Nortman. 10-10 to go. Third quarter. Chicago leads by 10. Jay Cutler watching for the 4th straight game. Sprained right thumb, not 100%, has not been cleared yet by the doctors. John Fox said until Jay is 100% good to go, we do not need to make a decision. Right now, Hoyer has been looking good, but that pass intended for Jeffrey is incomplete.
And that is going to be an interesting decision when the time comes, assuming that Hoyer continues to play at the level that he's playing. You know, you got a very positive response from the whole team to his presence out there on the field. And, you know, a lot has been made of that issue with Jay Cutler, his personality, whether he can inspire the confidence in his teammates. Well, Hoyer is really doing a noticeably good job at that.
On second down, it's Kadeem Carey. He gets to the 31-yard line. John Fox has made it clear it's performance-based, and it's hard to argue with the numbers that Brian Hoyer is putting up.
That's right, but you got to win. And if the moment happens where no matter how good Hoyer's playing, that he thinks Jay Cutler's going to come back in and plug back in, if they're not winning, he's not going to lose anything by putting Jay Cutler back in there. He's a guy making a lot of money, and I know people don't like to hear that. It is a factor. And it's an interesting conversation, particularly here in Chicago, when they're not winning, and yet their offense is playing so well.
3rd down and 7. Pressure coming by Jacksonville. Hoyer is snapped, and that is incomplete. Brian Hoyer took a big shot as Jacksonville brought the heat. It looked to be Dante Fowler getting back there first for Jacksonville.
Right. That was Dante Fowler coming up the gut. Malik Jackson off the outside.
Ngakoue off the outside.
Yeah, Unique Ngakoue, excuse me. Dante Fowler up the gut. Both of them had a clean run right at Brian Hoyer. That's the first time that we've seen that kind of uncontested pressure coming in Hoyer's face.
So the Jaguars defense does its job as O'Donnell is back out to punt with 9:24 to go in the 3rd quarter. Movement on the line.
There's got to be procedure. Now, they may say that the Jacksonville moved in,
but it's 4th and 7. So it would not give Chicago a first
Neutral
down.
zone infraction. Defense number 16. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
Yeah, you get to this 4th down on a 4th and 7. One reason they got to is because Jacksonville brought pressure. Now, the problem is they should say, hey, bring pressure more often. They don't want to do that when it's 3rd and 3. They bring pressure when it's 3rd and long, and unfortunately for Jacksonville, they haven't been 3rd and long very much.
Penalty makes it 4th and 2. Again, Marquise Lee back deep to return the punt. Lee with a fair catch at the 14.
Lee made the fair catch.
Jaguars trying to get their offense going when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Third quarter at Soldier Field, 9:16 to go in the 3rd. Blake Bortles has thrown 4 straight incompletions. He's 2 for his last 10 after starting 4 for 4. Jaguars start this drive at the 15. They have not started a drive inside the 20 this season and gone on to score a touchdown. Trying to change that here, but Ivory going the wrong way on 1st down. Christian Jones meeting him in the backfield.
It's interesting because you see Jacksonville all of a sudden after a really sharp-looking first drive of the game where Bortles was 4 for 4 before throwing what should have been a touchdown ending up in an interception. Now they have struggled mightily against this Bears defense, and you think something has got to change for this Jacksonville offense. You think what adjustment they can make, but really the only thing is they got to complete some passes
and make some plays.
Bortles and Marquise Lee makes the catch. Tripped up by Bryce Callahan. It will be 3rd down for Jacksonville. And this Bears rush defense Going back to Steve Tasker's point, they're 24th in the NFL. They give up 118 yards per game on the ground. Jacksonville with just 35 rushing yards, and that's affected them in the pass game. We met with Greg Olsen last night. He said, if we get the ball going on the ground, we'll take some deep shots. They haven't had that opportunity because they can't get their ground game going, and now faced with another third down. It's 3rd and 4. Just 2 for 7 on third downs today. Bortles rolling right, throws, and that pass is incomplete. Another 3 and out by Jacksonville, their 3rd straight 3 and out.
Well, it's always about run and stop the run. And this Bears defense, they're stopping the run. Yeldon has not been able to get going. You see, they are just mucking everything up in the middle of this Jacksonville offense. They cannot run downhill. They can't get to the edge. John Fox's crew doing an outstanding job just bottling up this Jacksonville run game, and that leads to all the lack of success every place else in the Jacksonville offense.
And this is going to start to hurt the Jacksonville defense because they've been out in the field so much. 3rd straight 3 and out. They're going to have to go right back out there and try to take the ball back for their offense as Nortman takes the snap. Eddie Royal comes way up, short punt. Royal's going to let it bounce. Bounces at the 44. Does take a Jacksonville roll all the way to the 20.
That's why you got to catch the punt in the NFL. You got to make every attempt to field those kicks.
A 59-yard punt for Nortman. Saturday, the best game from the best conference trots out Trevor Knight and the Aggies of Texas A&M against Jalen Hurts and the #1 Crimson Tide. Festivities start with college football today. That last punt by Nortman bounced 22 yards, which is longer than any play Jacksonville has run on offense so far in this game. Their longest play is an 18-yard completion from Blake Bortles to Allen Robinson. Yet,
who comes up with these stats?
We have our ace statistician, Mike Notaro, and our crew in the truck all over it. That said, it's still a 10-point game.
Exactly right. That's the point from the Jaguars' perspective.
It's Howard. And he stretches out to the 24-yard line.
As bad as it's been from Jacksonville's perspective, you're one drive away from making it a one-score game, obviously. And you just got to get that first score, get something on the board, get some rhythm going. And it starts with the defense stepping up and getting the ball back. And as you said, Andrew, though, they've been on the field an awful lot. That's too much pressure on the defense.
Jeffrey matched up with Ramsey at the bottom of your screen. Hoyer looking for Royal. He escapes. Eddie Royal caught from behind by Aaron Colvin. Nearly broke that for a big one, but it's still a gain of 17.
Well, this was a nice little red zone play you see on the goal line sometime. They're going to come in and get those. They look like they're going to run a pick, and they run the wrinkle where Royal goes out, and then looks like he's going to go to the sideline on the out route, but slants it back inside. That's a well-designed play that is designed knowing the keys that the defensive backs have in their coverage. Took advantage of it, came wide open, and almost turned into a long one.
20!
Play action. Hoyer. Nowhere to go. A flag is down. Hoyer just flicks one out. It's incomplete. Good coverage by Jalen Ramsey that time, because Hoyer was looking for Jeffrey as his first read, but Ramsey was right next to him.
You know, Hoyer shows an incredible amount of
Holdings.
poise.
Offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
It's on the rookie center, Cody Whitehair. Second time this year he's been called for holding.
Right there, working against Avery Jones, and this is just
doing a great job.
But I don't like that call. I got to tell you, I don't like the call. Keeps his arms inside, locks up shoulder to shoulder, and I don't think he's got a hold of anything. Now their arms got locked, but you like what Cody Whitehair did on that play.
Saw Eddie Royal there on the sideline talking to one of the Bears trainers. We'll keep an eye on that as Hoyer completes it to Meredith. He's got some room to run. Meredith slips a tackle. Cameron Meredith into Jacksonville territory and finally forced out by Telvin Smith. 36 yards on the play from Hoyer to Meredith.
Just a brilliant execution of a screen pass. You're going to see Meredith on the side right here. He steps up and then comes back behind the line, and he gets himself behind the offensive linemen that are coming his way, and there's a seam. And that's the you got speed hitting those seams. If the Jaguars, one Jaguars player is not in position filling his lane, it becomes a big play.
Longest catch of Meredith's career. And the longest play by either team today. Moves the Bears all the way down to the Jacksonville 33-yard line. Back to Howard on the ground. And Howard slips through the first level. And Howard pushes the pile for a gain of 9. Tonight, it's one of the most debated issues of the election. Are Syrian refugees coming to the U.S. without proper vetting? Find out on 60 Minutes tonight. Longest run of the day for Jordan Howard. He's got 12 carries for just 29 yards, but the Bears are on the move. Inside 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, and since the first quarter, Chicago has just dominated in terms of total yards. Howard, and he's got the first down for Chicago.
And you can see the effect of those 3 and outs that you referred to, Andrew. You know, all of a sudden, if somebody's a step slow getting to their gap, it was exposed on that screen play a couple plays ago. We're seeing it in the running game now. Guys are just not quite filling those holes with the same intensity because they're a little bit worn down now.
Yeah, you can feel it when you get that defense on the field for Jacksonville, and they can't stop this run game for Chicago. They keep converting third downs. It becomes a sickening feeling of inevitability for this Jacksonville defense.
Hoyer down the field for Meredith. It's incomplete.
Yeah, this was a blown pass route by the Bears. You see they're talking to each other. Meredith getting mixed up with Logan Paulson. Both those guys were going to the same spot in the field, and that kind of mushed it up for Hoyer to actually see who was going to come out to the corner. Paulson and Meredith were actually running the same route and got tangled up at the top of the stem. It ruined the play.
I think Paulson was trying to clear it out for Meredith, but Paulson got hung up, and then he tripped up Meredith coming underneath him.
Kadeem Carey gets the call on second down. Carey slips through inside the 10 and out of bounds at the 5-yard line. A 16-yard run for Carey. First and goal, Chicago.
They ran right out of his shoe on this run as he's going to come out. Somebody's going to get a hold of him down low, and whoop, right there, Leslie pulls his shoe off. He gets to the sideline, high stepping. That's everything's going your way when they start to undress you in the backfield and you still make a positive gain.
So first and goal for the Bears, and Jordan Howard in at running back as Carey attends to his shoe.
20.
It's Howard, stuffed at the line. Dante Fowler, Avery Jones combined to make the tackle as we approach 3 minutes to go in the third quarter.
This has just been a methodical drive by the Bears, doing anything they want, really, and they're looking at themselves in the huddle saying they can't stop us, only we can stop ourselves. And particularly with the running game being as big a factor as it is now, it is really going to be difficult for this Jacksonville team.
Miller is hit hard at the line. That was Paul Posluszny, who earlier today passed Mike Peterson to move into third all-time in Jaguars history in tackles.
That one was Paul Posluszny and a bunch of help. Great job by the Jaguars in general, sniffing out that screen pass. Individually, Posluszny is the one that made the stop, but that was the best play the Jaguars have had defensively in a long time.
Third and goal from the 6-yard line.
51. Hurry.
Hoyer fires end zone, incomplete. Miscommunication with Alshon Jeffrey And the Jacksonville defense will force a field goal attempt by Connor Barth.
We said coming into the game, as good as this Chicago offense has played, they have struggled to score points. See, Jeffrey comes in, they pass it off, do a nice job in the secondary as Gibson picks up Jeffrey as he comes across the back of the end zone, and it's just a bad throw by Hoyer. He was thinking he was going to be someplace else.
24-yard field goal attempt by Connor Barth. He is 6 for 9 on the season. And Barth's kick is good, but as poorly as Jacksonville has played today, it's still a 2-score game, 13-0 in favor of the Bears. Tomorrow, it's a night full of laughs, starting with all new episodes of TV's #1 comedy, The Big Bang Theory, followed by TV's #1 new comedy, Kevin Can Wait. And then don't miss a new Two Broke Girls and the season premiere of The Odd Couple, only CBS. Good crowd here at Soldier Field. The first game of a doubleheader for many Chicago fans who root for both the Bears and the Cubs. Game 2 between the Cubs and Dodgers coming up later tonight from Wrigley Field after the dramatic win by the Cubs in the opener last night. Miguel Montero with a grand slam in the 8th inning to lead the Cubs to victory. Marquise Lee back deep to await the kick from Barth. It's a good kick. And a touchback. Jacksonville will take it at the 25-yard line. Jaguars had 111 yards of offense, Steve Berline. How do they get this offense going here late third quarter?
You know, they're having opportunities. They've missed the opportunities they've had so far in this second half. And I truly believe it's a matter of just converting a couple of third downs or making a couple of plays in first and second down, getting the chains moving, having something positive happen. They're getting opportunities to get the ball to people up the field, but they have not been converting at all.
Just 27 yards on their last 19 plays. Bortles gets it to Hearns. He's got some room to run. First down and more for Allen Hearns out of bounds in Chicago territory. It's a gain of 25, the longest play today by the Jaguars.
That's what I'm talking about. And Bortles right here does a great job because there was nothing there off the bat. But he waited, he bought some extra time, and he's athletic enough to make that throw, stepping up in the pocket. That kind of jump starts an offense and gets them feeling good about themselves.
Final 90 seconds of the third quarter. Bortles nowhere to go, so he scrambles for a couple yards. Jaguars have been a little tough on Bortles in terms of making sure he gets down when he scrambles. He has that competitive spirit, likes to fight for extra yards, but they want him sliding earlier when he decides to run.
Well, he led the league last year with 14 fumbles. We mentioned it earlier. He only has 1 this year. It's been a huge improvement for them. Hasn't translated into wins, however.
Bortles' pass batted down. It was Christian Jones who got a hand on it. Now, this has been a problem this year and really his entire career for Blake Bortles. 9th time this season he's had a pass batted down, and since 2014 he has 47 balls batted down, the most in the NFL. And we spoke with him about it last night. He said during the bye week he spent a lot of time evaluating why that continues to happen. Greg Olsen said they worked on his delivery and his takeaway to try to cut it down. First time it's happened today, and it brings up 2nd and 7. Bortles in trouble. Gets away from Young. Flag is down, and that pass is incomplete. And it will be a hold against Jacksonville.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Wow. Defense number 97. With a blow to the head of the quarterback. It's a 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
All the Bears thought that was a hold, and instead it goes against Willie Young.
Well, I think this happened early in the play as Bortles started right when he scrambled. Watch here, right in front of you. He reaches up, oh yeah, he slapped him across the face of the chin strap, and that's what did it.
How's that not a hold on Jeremy Parnell?
Well, you could have called Parnell for sure, but the referee saw the hand to the face of Bortles initially. That's what drew his attention.
Wow, big penalty.
It's a different game than it was 15, 20 years ago. They're calling that when you go to the head of the quarterback.
Moves the Jaguars all the way down to the 32-yard line. Bortles was looking deep, throws to a wide open Hearns. He's got it inside the 10, cuts back at the 5, first and goal for Jacksonville. A 25-yard hookup between Bortles and Hearns.
Well, you're going to see Hearns right here lined up inside, and what's going to happen, the play action Bortles is going to use holds the defense underneath, and you see Hearns come across the field because the Bears got caught up in that play action, and it was cleared out nicely on the other side by Marquise Lee. Hearns comes wide open across the middle of the field. That is a big play for the Jaguars.
And that will be the final play of the third quarter. It will be first and goal for Jacksonville to start the fourth. We're through 3. Bears lead 13-0. We'll return to Chicago after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Jacksonville trying to get on the board here to start the fourth quarter. They trail 13-0, but first and goal from the 3-yard line.
Be aware of the read option with Blake Bortles in there at quarterback.
TJ Yeldon next to him. Bortles to the end zone, nearly intercepted. There is a flag down. Pass was intended for Marquise Lee.
Oh, yeah, this is a total penalty. Jacoby Glenn absolutely pulled Marquise Lee to the ground to get in front of him.
Prior to the pass, holding defense number 39. He's half the distance to the goal line. First down, Jacksonville.
Right up here. Watch me, he's going to see, he just grabs him and pulls himself in front of him.
Jacoby Glenn was teammates with Blake Bortles at Central Florida. Bortles told us last night he was happy to see his pal get an opportunity, but that time he was looking right at him. The penalty moves the ball to the 1. Defensive lineman Tyson Alualu, sometimes used as a fullback. He's in at fullback right here with Ivory behind him. The give to Ivory, right side, and Ivory takes it in for his first touchdown as a Jaguar. So Jacksonville finally on the board. Just their third rushing touchdown of the season. It's 13-6, pending the extra point.
Well, this is too easy. You see Alu, number 93, leading through. That is a nice job, and Chris Ivory does not need nearly that much room to get to the end zone. Remember now, this is a guy that rushed for over 1,000 yards last year. The Bears picked him up, and he's going to pay dividends down the road if we can stay healthy. He runs that ball up there physically, and been one of the most productive backs in the NFL for the last several years.
Jaguars picked him up, but the Bears did look at him in free agency, John Fox told us. Instead, he got a 5-year, $35 million deal. Bad snap. And a good job by Jason Myers to knock through the extra point. Also credit the holder, Brad Nortman, for getting that ball down. With 14:50 to go, we've got a 6-point game. Thursday, your weekend starts here with an NFC North battle between the Bears heading up to Lambeau to take on the Green Bay Packers. It's Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network.
Well, this is the play that really set the Jaguars up. The penalty on Bortles right there, that was the penalty. Almost pulled his helmet off. And then, of course, after that, Willie Young thought he was held, and that set all this up subsequently down the line where Ivory busts it in, and all of a sudden it's a one-possession game. After playing as poorly as they have offensively, the Jacksonville Jaguars got it together with a little help from the Bears, gotten back in this football game.
Real quick before the kick, we do want to wish our spotter, John Lou McCarthy, a very happy 40th birthday. How about that? Now, as a spotter, make sure these eyes don't go. We need you up here. Deontay Thompson back deep, and Chicago will start at the 25-yard line. So Brian Hoyer, who's thrown for 300 yards in 3 consecutive games, comes back out. He's 20 of 35 for 240 yards. And now this is where you look back to the last time the Bears had the ball, had to settle for a field goal. This has been a theme for Chicago this year, not putting 7 on the board, and now another close game for the Chicago Bears.
Well, it's the way the NFL works. So many games are decided by a touchdown or less, by one possession or less, and now in the fourth quarter, both these teams look back across their season and know it's been a handful of plays that have made them one-win teams.
Hoyer on play action. High pass caught by Miller. Cuts back and takes it right past the sticks for a Chicago first down.
Well, we spoke to both these teams and both their coaches and their players. And, you know, Paul Leslie told us for the Jacksonville Jaguars. John Fox told us for the Bears. You look back across, you know, we're 1-3, they're 1-4. And it's been 3 or 4 plays total for the entire season because of the close games we've been in that have led to that. So both teams think they're very close to being much, much better football clubs than they're given credit for being.
Kadeem Carey with both shoes on, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage. So Derek Marks leading the charge for the Jacksonville defense. How about the adjustment that Jalen Ramsey and the Jaguars have made on Alshon Jeffrey in this half? 3 targets, no catches for Jeffrey. In the first half, he had 7 targets and 6 catches.
It's not rocket science. I mean, if that guy's killing you, and he did in the first half, you got to help. And now, you know, once again, Ramsey comes out to right here, and they are all by themselves out on an island. We'll see if they go to him.
Hoyer goes the other way to Meredith, and he's tripped up in the backfield.
You know what it is more than anything? I think it's a more conservative attack in the second half. We've seen a lot of screen passes. We've seen a lot of, you know, the bootlegs and things like that from the Bears where they have not been attacking Jalen Ramsey for whatever the reason.
Well, we've spoken, you know, the Jacksonville said, you know, one thing about Hoyer and this Bear offense, the ball comes out quick. They knew it was going to be a concern getting to him quick enough to knock the ball down or certainly not sack him because the ball does come out. And that's part of what the Bears offense has become under Hoyer as their quarterback.
3rd down and 10. Hoyer over the middle, caught by Meredith, and he's taken down by Buzz Lusney at the 40, short of a first down. Yeah, Bears have now failed to convert their last 5 third downs.
Yeah, how energized does the Jacksonville defense look after their offense got a touchdown?
Exactly
completely different attitude.
It's contagious.
Yeah.
You have that kind of success, you realize that all of a sudden the other phase is showing life. Now you got to step up and do your job. Paul Leslie, he's going to get that defense ready to play. They know they're 1 score down.
Marquise Lee calls for a fair catch at the 16-yard line with 12:15 to go. Jaguars going back on offense, down by 6. 12:15 to go, 4th quarter. Jacksonville trails 13-7 against the Chicago Bears. Both teams looking for their 2nd win of the year. Bortles will start out of the shotgun. Ball at the 16-yard line. Empty backfield for Bortles. Pump fakes. And now dumps it down to Hearns, who's smacked down by Amos after a gain of 3.
Well, good job by Blake Bortles not trying to force this football up the field. They were trying to get the double move up the field to Allen Robinson. I think he should have come off it a little bit quicker because the coverage was obviously not going to let Allen Robinson get up over the top.
4 catches, 63 yards for Allen Hearns. Bortles steps up, chase from behind, lost the football, loose ball, and the Bears say they have it. Willie Young forced the fumble, and it's Chicago football.
Well, we said coming in to today, Blake Bortles played turnover-free last week. And he's only been able to do it 7 times in his career. He led the league in fumbles last year at 14. He only had 1 coming into today, and Willie Young comes up from behind. Bortles being careless with the football. You got to get 2 hands on it and hold it into your body, even when you're running away from people, because guys like Willie Young can catch you.
It was 2nd down.
You got to protect the football.
Tuck it and run. He had room to run in front of him. He's trying to direct traffic there. This is the NFL. You cannot carry that ball loosely. You're 100% right. You've got to have, there's got to be something inside your mind that says, hey, somebody's coming at some point. I got to tuck it and run, or I got to get rid of this football.
2nd fumble this year by Bortles. Willie Young gets credit for a sack. That's his 2nd. It was Akeem Hicks who recovered the fumble. Here's Bellamy looking for some room on the right side, and Buzz Lusney takes him down just short of the 20-yard line. Turnovers continue to plague Blake Bortles, a consistent theme throughout his young career.
Well, You can see the play action. Paul Posluszny and Telvin Smith read it and get out there, but because of the sideways move, it's still just picking your spot, spreading the defense out with the misdirection gives you room enough to get an 8-yard play on first down, handing it off to a wide receiver.
9 turnovers for Bortles this season.
Move on. Okay. Like 20!
Bears trying to capitalize. It's 2nd and 3. Boyer on the move. Completes it to Miller. Gets away from Telvin Smith and picks up a first down. So Derek Marks caught up with him. But a big pickup by the former Jaguar, Zach Miller.
Well, and with a nice play by Boyer. Safe throw to Zach Miller. He's athletic enough to make people miss, as he shows right here. But back to that turnover from Bortles. I mean, number one, where the turnover took place, it's already giving them a field goal minimum, which makes it a 2-score ball game. That comes into the equation, too. You got to know where you are on the field as well.
Howard already with 1 rushing touchdown today. And he gets just inside the 10 with 10 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
Now this game with that turnover, and it's almost, you get tired of hearing it. Turnovers are really the biggest statistic in football outside of the score. And, and I get it. Blake Bortles does turn it over a lot. And one of the things, I was speaking to one of the executives for Jacksonville, you kind of don't want to coach it out of him because he does have that ability. It's not, and in that case, he was careless with the football, no doubt about it. But so many times he has a belief that he's going to try and make a play, and it's hard to coach a guy out of the habit of trying to make a play. And in that case, that was just carelessness with the football.
2nd and 7. Sent Derek Marks coming with pressure. Hoyer eludes it on the run, fires incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 7, and Steve Berline pointed out even a field goal would make it a 2-score game, but Bears are tired of settling for field goals on offense.
Well, if it means they settle for a win, I'm sure they're going to be just as happy, particularly at this point of the game with a half a quarter to go against an offense that they have bottled up pretty well. This field goal would be a real gift for the Bears.
Bears have failed on their last 5 third downs. Hoyer is sacked. Yannick Ngakoue with his 4th sack of the season. First sack today by the Jacksonville defense, and out comes the kicker, Connor Barth.
Well, at the top of your screen there, Ngakoue, number 91, you see he gets in there and finishes it off. Extremely productive, this 3rd-round draft choice out of Maryland. Got a great motor, great athletic ability, and I know Gus Bradley really believes they got a big-time contributor for many years to come in him.
So here's Barth, a 32-yard field goal attempt. And that kick is good. Connor Barth, 3 for 3 today, and it's a 2-score game here in Chicago.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Voya Financial, changing the way you think of retirement. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing. And by Honda Civic Coupe, be the one they didn't see coming.
They're having fun in Chicago these days with the Cubs, and now the Bears looking for their 2nd win of the season. They lead at 16-7 with 8:28 to go in the 4th quarter. Steve Tasker and Steve Berline, our entire NFL on CBS crew. I'm Andrew Catalan. Bears trying to win their 2nd straight game at home for the first time since the 2014 season. It'll be Barth kicking away to Marquise Lee. And he will take a knee. Jaguars 1st and 10 from the 25 when we return. Coming up on the Subway postgame show, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cower, all the latest NFL scores and highlights all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Jaguars down by 9, 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. Bortles, and that is in the hands of Allen Hurns, and they mark him for a first down, gain of 10. We'll see if the Jaguars use a little no huddle. It appears they will. All 3 timeouts as we approach 8 minutes to go. It's Ivory next to Bortles, who's in the shotgun. Dumps it down to Ivory, and he's tackled at the 37-yard line by Jarrell Freeman. Only 3 receivers had caught a pass for Jacksonville until this catch by Ivory.
Look at that. He kind of throws that off his back foot, whips it right around the pass rush. And, you know, even on the batted ball he had earlier, he threw it right into the face mask. So he's got to make sure of these throws more than ever.
Bortles screen to Ivory. Runs right into Linder. And now a flag comes in. Freeman makes another tackle. Let's see what the penalty is. But the Jacksonville tight ends, Julius Thomas, Mercedes Lewis, without a catch today.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask. Defense number 59. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down, Jacksonville.
It's on Danny Trevathan. You see the cast he's wearing on his right hand because of a torn ligament in his right thumb.
Well, it's the face mask is up here on the offensive lineman that was blocking him.
And that's a huge penalty. I mean, the Jaguars were going to be looking at 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 right there on that play. Now to give them a first down on the other side of the 50-yard line, that's a pretty big deal.
Bortles to Thomas, and there it is. Julius Thomas's first catch of the day. Good for a Jacksonville first down. Bryce Callahan forces him out after a gain of 15.
And all of a sudden, Bortles has got a little bit of extra time, the extra half a beat in the pocket without having to shuffle his feet or sidestep a pass rush. Bears continuing to rush, really just a straight 4-man rush almost every throwing down.
Pressure coming. Bortles gets it away to Yeldon, who makes the catch. Bortles just got that one off, and Yeldon takes it down to the 26-yard line.
Yeah, they mixed it up here. They're going to bring it out here, and they bring it from the other side. They back the defensive lineman out and bring Trevathan as the back linebacker back, and it confused the offensive line. They got some pressure.
Jack still going no huddle. Yeldon gets to the second level. That's a first down and more. T.J. Yeldon inside the 15. And now late flags come in.
They may call this on Jacksonville for piling over, but it looked like the Bears did it to themselves.
That's what it looked like. I'm curious to who they're going to call this on.
Bears indicating it's against Jacksonville. Jaguars average the most penalties in the NFL with more than 10 per game.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 68, the late hit on the pile. It's only 15 yards from the end of the run. The end of the run was a first down, so it'll be 1st and 10 from that spot.
It's on Kelvin Beachum.
Well, there's the plays down. Oh, yeah, he did do it.
How do we not see that?
I don't know. We were blind. Yeah, Beachum, that's a penalty.
No doubt.
I thought he knocked 2 Bears players over, so I thought one of them knocked the other over, and it wasn't. Beachum came in and piled on.
The run by Yeldon still goes for a first down, but the ball is moved back.
Yeah, they lose
because of the penalty.
They lose 15 yards, which those are the things that, Gus Bradley, you got a team that's averaging over 10 penalties a game. Most in the league, you don't need that right there.
On this drive, Blake Bortles 5 of 5 for 34 yards. Bortles to Marquise Lee inside the 20, and Lee has another Jacksonville first down. You've seen this a lot in Blake Bortles' career. He excels in the 2-minute offense. He just looks so comfortable. We spoke with him last night, and he said he's at his best when he's playing free, when he doesn't have to worry about different assignments. If he can just go out there and chuck it, that's what he likes. That's what he's doing in the 2-minute drill, moving Jacksonville right down the field. Right back to Marquise Lee, who's wrapped up by Callahan.
You see that a lot with young quarterbacks. So many college offenses that are prolific and get guys into the NFL are the ones that are spread out, fast-paced, and they get a lot of reps doing it. And they come to the NFL, it takes a lot of the decision-making out of it for them, and they can, just like you said, freewheel it, and they're just more productive and feel more comfortable playing that way.
7 for 7 on this drive. Plenty of time for Bortles, and now just throws this one away. Keep in mind, if Jacksonville doesn't convert here on 3rd down, a field goal is just fine. They've got to score twice anyway, so protection and not turning it over should be a big key for Bortles here on 3rd and 5.
And even as he broke out and contained that one, Bortles did, he still was carrying the football, running with it like it was a loaf of bread, and didn't tuck it away. And you think, that's part of the thing. You got to put both hands on it, even when you're scrambling, even when you feel like you're in open space. That time it didn't cost him, but earlier it really did.
Bortles, quick pass, incomplete. Off the hands of Allen Hurns, and out comes the kicker, Jason Myers. Jacksonville now 2 for 9 on 3rd downs today.
Well, this ball was a rocket shot out of Bortles' hands. It was not delivered with a lot of touch, and I think Hurns was surprised with how hard it was thrown. Could he have caught it? Yes, he would have. He could have possibly caught it. I still think it would have been short for the 1st down, but Bortles has got to learn how to put that ball right on his chest with a little bit more touch in that situation.
First field goal attempt today for Jason Myers, 2nd-year man out of Marist. This is from 30 yards, and the kick is good. So with 4:59 to go in the 4th quarter, we've got a 1-score game in Chicago.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. Welcome to Verizon LTE Advanced, the next-gen network. And by Subway. Try the new thick-cut autumn carb turkey sandwich.
.4:59 to go, 4th quarter. Jaguars coming off the field goal. Trail 16-10. Myers will kick it away to Deontay Thompson. Both teams with all 3 timeouts remaining. Jacksonville has limited Chicago to 140 yards of offense in the 2nd half. Thompson will let this one go, and it's a touchback. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS does double time with a great matchup between Tom Brady and the Patriots and Big Ben and the Steelers. Check your local listings, and it all begins with JB, Boomer, Tony, Coach, and Bart on the NFL Today.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, Andrew. We heard earlier that Big Ben actually left the game with an injury possibly, so his status for next week may be up in the air. That's a big blow to Pittsburgh.
Let us just throw a bucket of water on that tease you just threw out there for that game.
Well, it's going to be interesting to watch. Big Ben may show up. You never know.
1st down and 10 for the Bears. It's Carey at running back. And Carey dragging the Mukamara over the 30 for a gain of 7. Kadeem Carey has emerged here for Chicago today. What's been a slow day for Jordan Howard.
Well, you get in this position where they're in the back half of the 4th quarter with a lead. You'd love to run the football like that. You get an 8-yard run on 1st down. Hey, more of that. The Bears would love to just hand this football off, drain this clock down. Even to come away with a field goal would be huge for them. I mean, this is exactly what they want to do. For Jacksonville, giving up an 8-yard run on 1st down in the 4th quarter in this situation, can't do it.
Eddie Royal out with a toe injury. Hoyer nearly dropped that. A busted play, and Telvin Smith brings down Hoyer.
You know what? That was a busted play because Hoyer actually bumbled the snap when it came up. But he did the right thing. Just, hey, get down. Don't do anything crazy. That play is lost. He just had a bad snap exchange.
John Fox about just lost whatever he had in his belly right there. I guarantee you when he saw that ball not secured into Hoyer's hands. That's the only thing that can happen right now. is a turnover by the Bears. And right there, that was almost disaster.
Critical third down for Chicago. It's 3rd and 7.
Set 51. 180.
Hoyer with time, incomplete, looking for Miller. Hoyer wanted a flag on the play. He's not going to get it. And the incompletion stops the clock with 3:25 to go, so the Jacksonville defense does its job. They're going to get the ball back with all 3 timeouts.
Well, Zach Miller looked open. You see there, he did. He had some separation. Couldn't get loose.
Hoyer came in number 1 in the NFL in completion percentage at 71%, but today he's 24 of 41 passing.
Well, that's a pass that Hoyer should be able to make in his sleep. How accurate he is. That he's going to look at that one and have some problems with it tomorrow.
Marquise Lee back deep to return the punt. Calls for a fair catch at the 21 with 3:18 to go. Another close game for the Jaguars, and they've seen this happen a lot. Go back to week 1 against Green Bay. 23 seconds left in the 4th and 1. Allen Hurns could not convert. Then against the Ravens in week 3, Justin Tucker, a 54-yard field goal with about a minute to play. Jaguars lost that one by 2. Here, they've got all 3 timeouts. They trail by 6 with 3:18 to go.
And if you're Gus Bradley, you're thinking maybe this just might be the time we finally come back and pull one of these close ones out with the game on the line.
Ivory at running back. Bortles pump fakes, now throws, and it's caught by his tight end, Thomas. Second catch this quarter for Julius Thomas, and Jacksonville with a first down. Gain of 13.
Bortles with plenty of time to stand back there, and as we've mentioned in the last drive, this is where he's the most comfortable. Get your offense set, get to the line of scrimmage, and make a call. And you'll see here as he steps up in, pump fakes at once. He was trying to get it down the field to Marquise Lee. Couldn't do it.
Bortles to Marquise Lee, trying to get away from Freeman. He does. Marquise Lee out of bounds, just shy of midfield.
Well, this is great instinct by Marquise Lee. Watch this. He's right here at the bottom of the screen. He comes across the field, and he's going to see a linebacker waiting for him, and he bows it back as the ball's coming and creates an angle for himself. Watch, he catches the ball, and he starts to bow back to the line of scrimmage. He knew that a headache was waiting for him. Great job, instinctive play, big play for the Jaguars.
Bortles deep down the field and incomplete. Allen Robinson the intended target. And Crayvon LeBlanc applying pressure to Bortles.
Yeah, Chris Ivory did a nice job of keeping Blake Bortles on his feet right there. Ivory took the brunt of that hit. You see Bortles wasn't even really touched, but boy, he was coming with the full head of steam.
Second down and 10, 2:58 to go. Bortles completes it to Aurelius Ben, gets to his feet, he wasn't touched, at the 10, Ben takes it in, touchdown Jaguars! Aurelius Ben with his first touchdown since 2011 when he was with Tampa Bay, and the Jaguars now an extra point away from taking the lead.
Well, Tracy Porter slips on this play. The Bears were coming with an all-out blitz from the backside of Blake Bortles. Aurelius Ben, I think, was expecting to get hit as he caught that ball, but Porter had slipped, and alertly, Ben gets up and takes it in for the touchdown. Wow. Porter, the one thing you can't do when you've got a blitz coming, man-to-man coverage, you cannot let your man catch the ball and run for it. You've got to be in position to make that tackle.
Now, the critical extra point. Jason Myers this year is 10 for 10 on extra points, but he did miss 7 last year with the Jaguars. This to give Jacksonville its first lead of the day. And the kick is good. With 2:49 to go, the Jaguars pull in front by 1. Chicago does have all 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning.
And now, for the first time today, Jacksonville's over there on their sideline saying, man, Now I wish this game would get over. Now we scored too quick.
That's the problem.
Now you got to make a defensive stop in a game where your defense has been on the field all too much.
Well, I guarantee if you're Gus Bradley right now, though, if you say, hey, we're going to let you score a touchdown and take the lead with 2:50 left in the game, 2:49, will you like the odds? You want to take that opportunity?
Heck yeah.
You got to have your defense step up here. That's all part of learning how to win.
It's been a rough road for Aurelius Ben. He's been on injured reserve 3 straight years. 2013, 2014, and 2015 did not play. As I mentioned, his first touchdown in 5 years when he was with Tampa Bay, the 6th of his career. That was his first catch today. It goes for a 51-yard touchdown. And how about Blake Bortles in this fourth quarter? He's 11 of 14 for 133 yards and a touchdown. Even his offensive coordinator, Greg Olsen, is finally able to smile.
And what I like about that is he went with his read. He went to a guy he hadn't thrown the ball to all day, a guy who's not one of his marquee players. He trusted him to make a play, and he did.
The Bears will have first and 10 at the 25.
Don't forget, coming up on the Subway postgame show, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher. They'll have all the latest NFL scores and highlights all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Now, Connor Barth is Chicago's kicker. He is 3 for 3 today, but he has been under fire here in Chicago because right before the season, the Bears cut longtime kicker and fan favorite Robbie Gould. Barth has missed 3 field goals this season. His career long is from 57. That was in 2012 with Tampa Bay. Hoyer starts it in the air to Howard. And a great job by Aaron Colvin to make the tackle. Colvin playing in his first game of the season after he was suspended the first 4 for violating the NFL's policy on performance-enhancing drugs. A loss of 1. Hoyer and the Bears, no huddle. Hoyer to Meredith. He's got the 30. Breaks through for a first down. And Meredith out of bounds at the 43-yard line. A gain of 18 for Chicago.
And once again, Hoyer stepping up in, getting the crossing route, and the Jaguars zone it off. Telvin Smith, with his eyes in the backfield, doesn't feel the crosser, doesn't kind of stay with him, ends up trailing him too far behind to prevent the reception, and obviously couldn't make the tackle. You zone that off, and those defenders become mesmerized by what's going on in the pocket, and they forget that there's guys running around them. You've got to stay disciplined and pick those guys up when they run through your zone.
Meredith over 100 yards receiving for the second consecutive game. He's got 103. Hoyer to Alshon Jeffrey. That's his first catch of the second half, caught by Telvin Smith. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning at Soldier Field. Bears trying to move into field goal range. They trail by 1. Bears kicker Connor Barth hoping to get a chance at a potential game-winning field goal. It's 2nd and 7 at the 2-minute warning. Each team with all 3 timeouts remaining. Telvin Smith bringing pressure. Hoyer gets rid of it. Caught by Jordan Howard into Jacksonville territory. Out of bounds right at the sticks. We'll see where they mark this one. Jonathan Cyprien made the tackle.
They're moving the chain. It's a first down. And now, with that, with 1:56 and 3 timeouts, time's not even a factor for the Bears.
You figure
they need about 13 yards to get to the 35-yard line, makes it a 52-yard kick. And anything they get after that just raises the percentages for Connor Barth.
But Gus Bradley needs to be thinking about when to use his timeouts to try to get the ball back for his offense. Hoyer to Meredith at the 45, and right there to bring him down is Paul Posluszny.
I'll tell you what, he is seldom out of position, and he's always in a good athletic linebacker stance to make those hits, boy. Great job hanging on to the football.
Time continues to tick, 1:30 to go. Bears down by 1. Hoyer Incomplete miscommunication with Jeffrey on the sideline, and Jalen Ramsey has done a great job in this second half of limiting Jeffrey to just one catch.
Yeah, they were bringing pressure off of the right side of the offense, and Hoyer saw it and kind of got rid of that just to make sure he had a third down to work with. That was a throwaway for me. And Hoyer just did the smart thing. He just wanted to make sure he had one more down. Now, this is 4-down territory. They've got to pick up a first down before they try a field goal.
The Jaguars have not stopped them on third down this whole second half. They were 7 of 10 in the first half, 0 for 6 in the second half.
The Bears have failed in the last 7 third down attempts with 1 on the play clock. Hoyer gets rid of it. There's a flag down. Pass is incomplete. And now let's see what the flag is.
Oh, we got a hold.
Appears to be a hold against the Bears.
Now, this is an interesting question. Do you bring the 4th and 7 up and force the Bears to convert on 1 down, or do you back them up 10 yards and give them 2 shots to get the first down or to get into field goal range?
See what Gus Bradley decides.
Holding, offense, number 24. 10-yard penalty will replay third down.
I think that's the right move, because now you put them further away from field goal range and the first down. Trust your defense.
I agree. And again, Andrew, thank you for clearing it up. The Bears have not converted a third down against the Jaguars this whole second half. You feel good about what you're doing on your third down, fourth down defense right now. Make the Bears have to go further to get into field goal range.
Like, this is one of those times when you let them get the short one and tackle him short of the marker. See if you can get some pressure on Hoyer.
Hoyer directing traffic. It's 3rd and 16. Fires to midfield, caught by Meredith, and a good tackle by Colvin again. Making his presence felt in this is 2016 debut. It brings up 4th down. Bears have to keep the offense on the field. And
this is going to cost, they got a player down on the field. That's going to cost him a timeout as well.
Josh Sitton, the injured Bear, the starting left guard.
But a great tackle right there by Colvin. I mean, if he misses that tackle, it very easily could have been a conversion. You see there's no one else in there that's going to stop Meredith for a couple of steps at least.
Josh Sitton slowly walks off the field.
As I mentioned, when you get a player injured, as the officials announcing now, an injured player inside the 2-minute costs Chicago a timeout. And for obvious reasons, you don't want guys faking injury in order to get the clock stopped when you really need the time on it.
The ball is at the Jacksonville 48-yard line. Chicago has to get to the 38 to pick up a first down. It's 4th and 10. This year, the Bears are just 1 for 6 on 4th downs. Empty backfield. Ted Larson goes in at left guard to replace Josh Sitton. Now Howard next to Hoyer.
51, 51, here we go. Now 37.
Hey.
All right.
On 4th down, Hoyer steps up, fires, broken up by Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey's had a huge second half, and he makes the play of the day for Jacksonville.
On a day coming in when Alshon Jeffrey and the Bears were taking some criticism because they didn't get the ball to him enough. They gave it to him the entire first half at the expense of Jalen Ramsey. He was shaking his head, throwing his hands in the air as Alshon Jeffrey absolutely abused him in the first half. And when the game on the line, they go back to Jeffrey, and Ramsey
he
makes the play.
He baited Hoyer into that throw and timed it perfectly. What it says a lot to me about this kid is his ability to shake it off, come back, not waver in his confidence. Tremendous way for him to end that ball game. Incredibly disappointing for John Fox and the Chicago Bears.
Bears do have timeouts. They could get the ball back with a couple of seconds left. They call timeout here. It stops the clock with 52 seconds to go.
And remember, they did lose a timeout because of the injured player there.
Critical to Josh Sitton. He had to come off.
I mentioned it was because to keep players from faking. No way Josh Sitton was faking in that instance. It was a legitimate injury that You hate to see that happen, and certainly in a critical time, you want your starting left guard on the field, and he had to come off.
Steve Tasker mentioned last week in Indianapolis, 4th down for the Bears. They did not go to Alshon Jeffrey. This time they do, but Jalen Ramsey was there to make a great play. The 5th overall pick in this year's draft. Ivory. And there's the timeout by John Fox. We met with Jalen Ramsey last night, and he is so competitive. His defensive coordinator, Todd Wash, says this guy doesn't like to lose in checkers. And we asked Jalen about it. He said, growing up, he was 4 or 5 years younger than his brother and cousins. And in order to play with them, he had to be competitive. And he said that all the trash he talks, it's to give himself an edge. He knows that if you talk, you've got to back it up. And it gives him a mental advantage to try to pump himself up. So he likes to talk. We saw it with Steve Smith a few weeks ago, and Ramsey gets the last laugh today.
Well, it was interesting, too. Blake Bortles, and he got into a discussion at practice. He says, I knock balls away in walkthroughs. So even when they're just standing around, he won't let anybody catch a pass around him. It's just his thing, and it's served him well.
3rd down and 7. Bears do not have any timeouts remaining. The Jaguars are throwing the ball, and Bortles will just go down in play to keep the clock moving.
And let's give Blake Bortles the credit he deserves today, too. A couple of bad plays, and then the game is going to be over.
The fact that he was able to scramble a little bit and kill some time will kill the game.
That's what he was doing. But give him credit. He came back after the 2 bad turnovers, and he made some plays down the stretch to give his team a chance to win the ball game. Great for his confidence.
Jaguars had lost 17 of their last 18 road games. They were down to start this 4th quarter, 13-0, and they come back to beat the Chicago Bears, and Jacksonville improves to 2-3 on the season.
Those two guys had a battle today, Alshon Jeffrey and Jalen Ramsey.
Great adjustment that Jacksonville made in the second half, holding Jeffrey to just 1 catch. For Steve Tasker, Steve Berline, this is Andrew Catalon saying so long from Chicago. We'll take you back to New York for the Subway postgame show, all coming up right after this.